good evening. My name is Father Rayappa. I would like to talk about two intriguing words which we don't find recently in this generation. That is sobriety and humility. I am not telling you that. Pope Francis is writing in his encyclical Laudato Si in the last chapter, Ecological Spirituality, Ecological Education and Spirituality. That is the title. So under this chapter, he discusses about these two uh, characteristics: sobriety, humility. You all know humility, but sobriety, that is a troublesome word, and it's very hard to understand. And I'm going to explain what sobriety is all about, what Pope is talking about. So first of all, we should know the meaning of sobriety. Then only we can understand what Pope is writing about. And also humility, we all know, at least to a certain extent, we know what is humility. So we can understand about that. So now what is sobriety? Sobriety is the condition of not having any measurable levels or effects from mood altering drugs. Example, you are not dependent on alcohol, you are not a boozer, you are not a drunk, so you are sober, so you have sobriety. According to the World Health Organization lexicon of alcohol and drug terms, sobriety is continued abstinence from psychoactive drug use. So drugs can include alcohol, other psychological drugs, and antidepressant pills and benzoids. So all these drugs, when you use them, you are not sober. You don't have sobriety. So when you use them, actually you are under addiction. So probably we can pair both words, addiction and sobriety. So you are out of addiction. That is sobriety. When you are addicted, you are not sober. So sobriety is also considered to be the natural state of a human being given at a birth. So it's a natural state of a human being. So you don't consume alcohol, you don't consume drugs, and you don't even consume philosophies, theologies, even religion. So you're not contaminated, not only through substances, also through ideas, also philosophies, also faith. So you're not influenced by that. So natural state of human being is, he is completely liberated from all these clutches, all these miseries. So when you come out of drugs and booze and religion, philosophy and bigotry, and from even political agendas, practical relativism, I think that is sober. That is a sober. So a person in a state of sobriety is considered sober. Sobriety, as I told you, natural state of human being given at a birth. So if I am a person in a state of sobriety, he is called sober. In a treatment setting, sobriety is the achieved goal of independence from consuming or craving mind-altering substances. It's not only chemical, also ideas. Some people, they impose on you, they brainwash you. So this is all, when you are brainwashed, you are under sobriety. So you need to come out of those brainwashing sessions in order to be sober. So that's what I do most of the time. I don't allow myself to be brainwashed by anybody. I take alcohol a little bit, I smoke also, but with ideas. No. You need to stay sober. That is the quality of human being. So anyway, early in abstinence, residual effects of mind-altering substances can preclude sobriety. These effects are labeled PAWS, POS. The expansion is post-acute withdrawal syndrome. Someone who abstains but has a latent desire to resume use is not considered truly sober. An abstainer may be subconsciously motivated to resume drug use, but for a variety of reasons abstains. Sobriety has more specific meanings within specific contexts, such as the culture of many substance use recovery programs, law enforcement, and some schools of psychology. Some cases, sobriety implies achieving life balance. There is a political agendas can make you really influenced by sobriety. Religions, they do all the time. And drugs, alcohol, and some brainwashing sessions. Some people also can put you under the spell of sobriety with their mindset. When I trust my mindset on you, I think you are under sobriety and you need to be detoxified. You have to come out of it. So as I told you, sobriety is also considered to be the natural state of a human being given at a birth. So you go back to square one. So sobriety sessions is simply there's a technical word in computer language. You are formatting and you're going back to the factory inputs, the factory settings. So that is the birth, the state of your birth. So we need to come out of sobriety, not only drugs, also ideas, and also convictions, also dogmas. So Pope is writing about sobriety, and it is so nice to hear from Pope Francis. So in Laudato Si, in the last chapter, ecological education and spirituality, so he is writing in the paragraph number 223 as follows. Such sobriety, when lived freely and consciously, is liberating. It is not a lesser life or one lived with less intensity. On the contrary, it is a way of living life to the full. In reality, those who enjoy more and live better each moment are those who have given up, dipping here and there, always on the lookout for what they do not have. They experience what it means to appreciate each person and each thing, learning familiarity with the simplest things, how to enjoy them. So they are able to shed unsatisfied needs, reducing their obsessiveness and weariness. Even living on little, they can live a lot. Above all, when they cultivate other pleasures and find satisfaction in fraternal encounters, in service, in developing their gifts, in music and art, in contact with nature, in prayer. Happiness means knowing how to limit some needs which only diminish us, and being open to the many different possibilities which life can offer. That is a brilliant statement from Pope Francis towards the last. Just I want to repeat, happiness means knowing how to limit some needs which only diminish us, and being open to the many different possibilities which life can offer. Brilliant. So I hope I explained what sobriety is all about. Even I am not clear in my mind, but I tried to explain. And if you didn't understand, you can do your own research. And humility, also this generation lacking humility. Pope is writing sobriety and humility. These are the two things we lack. What is humility? Humility is the quality of being humble. In a religious context, this can mean a recognition of self in relation to God or deities, acceptance of one's defects, and submission to divine grace as a member of a religion. Outside of a religious context, humility is defined as the self-restraint from excessive vanity and can possess moral or ethical dimensions. So we can put pride and humility, they are in the opposite direction. Pride, humility. So humility is a human virtue. Pride is arrogance. Even crocodile has a pride. Even dinosaurs had them. Even a cobra has a pride. But only humans can put their head down. Cobra can lift up a head up and strike you. But humans can bow down. That is what we are. Humility, in various interpretations, is widely seen as a virtue in many religious and philosophical traditions, often in contrast to narcissism, hubris, and other forms of pride. What is narcissism? It's about me. I am beautiful, I am the smartest person, I am the strongest, and I am holding the most powerful position. I am the boss. I can do anything to anybody. So this is narcissism. What is a hubris? Hubris is the inflated sense of self. I inflate myself. Right now I have hubris. I feel as if I can talk. I can influence other people. Right now, for some people, you may say that I'm brainwashing you. Yeah, I do it. That is hubris. In other words, arrogance. So that is what I am right now. So nobody can tell to another people, do that, do this, but I'm doing it. So that is hubris. Maybe it comes in my birth. So that is how I grew up. I studied in institutions where they taught me, you are the leader. You are that. You have the power to teach, and you have the power to change other people's minds. Wow, what a power. That is hubris. So anyhow, Pope is writing, this generation lacks sobriety and humility. 100% true. I have a problem. I don't have humility. I belong to Roman Catholic Church. All the time I feel that I know everything. I can change other people's minds. I can convert them. I can influence them because I am better than them. So that's the kind of image I cultivated in my formation. So the way Pope is writing, I humbly listen to him. And Pope is making sense. It's nice to hear. Paragraph number 224. From Laudato Si, the last chapter of Laudato Si, which is titled Ecological Education and Spirituality. Humility is a spirituality. Sobriety is a spirituality. So Pope Francis writes as follows in the paragraph number 224. Sobriety and humility were not favorably regarded in the last century. And yet, when there is a general breakdown in the exercise of a certain virtue in personal and social life, it ends up causing a number of imbalances, including the environmental ones. That is why it is no longer enough to speak only of the integrity of ecosystems. We have to dare to speak of the integrity of human life, of the need to promote and unify all the great values. Once we lose our humility and become enthralled with the possibility of limitless mastery over everything, we inevitably end up harming society and the environment. It is not easy to promote this kind of healthy humility or happy sobriety when we consider ourselves autonomous, when we exclude God from our lives or replace Him with our own ego and think that our subjective feelings can define what is right and what is wrong. So these are the two great, we can call it virtues, sobriety and humility. And anyway, I try to explain about them, but if you're not satisfied, please go to Google and you can do your own research and then educate yourself on sobriety and humility. And I thank you for listening. Thank you. God bless.